I'm sure you've heard of CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations. They're supposed to, well, be in charge of good relations between Islam and America. Except the founder and leader supported the slaughter on October 7th, and he was happy about it. The Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, which doesn't care, but that's their name. The founder said in a speech 2 weeks ago that he was happy to witness the October 7th terrorist attacks against Israel. I'm talking about Nihad Awad. I want you to see this clown, since it's going to be one of those days. This is Nihad Awad. He's the executive director, the co-founder of CAIR. He said, in regards to the terrorist attacks, he gave a speech at the 16th Annual Convention for Palestine in the United States a couple weeks ago. He said, quote, "The people of Gaza only decided to break the siege, the walls of the concentration camp, on October 7th. And yes, I was happy to see people breaking the siege and throwing down the shackles of their own land and to walk free into their land where they were not free to go. And that was all in self-defense, and they have the right to defend themselves, but Israel does not." He made three completely stupid remarks. Number one, they were breaking out of a concentration camp. He doesn't know what a concentration camp is or was. I do. My family went to one, and then another one, and then another one. It is an extermination ground for the mass killing of a specific type of people, specifically Jews. The idea that Gaza is a concentration camp where no one's getting mass murdered, where there are no Jews, and Hamas rules their own people since 2006, lie number one. Lie number two, that streaming into Israel was self-defense. That's insane. There was no fighting on October 6th. There's a whole lot ever since that they started on October 7th. And the idea that Israel doesn't have the right to defend their own citizens and their own territory, this man is certifiably insane. And yes, he's the national head of CAIR. And we're going to talk a lot about CAIR today. You don't want to talk about him?
Pure evil. It's just pure evil.
Of course it is.
It's pure evil. Barry, there, and they've said this, just because the very existence of Israel, they see that as a threat. They call that as a threat. Just because they exist, just because Jewish people exist. And a lot of people go, well, if the Israelis left that part of the world, left the land, let them go to America, do you think it will stop then? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They will follow them to the ends of the earth. And it's like the most idiotic thing. It's so stupid. It's so petty. And then on top of that, Israel, again, they're not shooting thousands of rockets into the Gaza Strip. They're not shooting thousands of rockets into Jordan. They're not shooting thousands of rockets into Turkey. They're not shooting thousands of rockets to Yemen, even though they might need to be right now. But they're not. They had never been doing that. There's no record of it. There's no alarms going off. Gaza didn't have to have an Iron Dome. They didn't have to have an Iron Dome. But for some reason, which they don't want to acknowledge, Israel had needed an Iron Dome to defend and protect the people in their country. And Barry, did you know they got upset? I'm pretty sure you know this. Did you know that in Gaza, the Palestinians that were in Gaza, they were complaining to the United Nations that Israel won't share their Iron Dome technology?
I know. We talked about that last year. That's great. Boy, is that precious. And and you know what they called it? They said that's a war crime.
Wait a minute. So let's get this straight. You want me to give you the technology that's defending ourselves because you're trying to keep killing us with rockets. And the only thing will happen is if they share the technology with them, they'll know how to get around the technology. That's what they want. Good for Israel for not sharing it.
100%.